Flight Boss, bitch, you know, for sure. You're not listening to the Mind of an Antares Moon, Flight Boss, the Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry God duties and motherfucker responsibilities. And right now I want to talk about Venus sliding her ass right into motherfucking Cancer. Now, so I think around the 19th, which will be tomorrow, you know, Venus is going into motherfucking Cancer. So this is what people need to understand. Now, there's always a theme. So, you know, anytime we talk about a planetary, a celestial body going into a space, that space is going in is already vibrating in a certain way. So the space is going in, we call that a house. Or, quote unquote, we call that house as a sign. But it's just that space. And whatever planet go into that space has to sustain itself the best way it can and push off the energy that it has correlating with the energy that is in. So for the most part, this what creates the condition of the celestial body based upon the space that is in. Now when we look at motherfucking Venus, Venus is sliding her ass in motherfucking Cancer. So off the back, you know, Venus is picking up, getting ready to you know, go into the household of the Cancer archetype, and it's leaving the Gemini archetype. So you know, when we was dealing with loving, appreciating, value, relating, compromising to things that dealt with the intellect, the mind, information, curiosity, you know, relating, communicating in different ways. Relieving that nature right now and the energy that you need to participate in the best way that you can, depending on your Venus. It may be more harder for you than it is others, but this is the energy that you need to try to tap into. Now when Venus actually goes into Cancer, you're here to value your emotions, value your feelings, which is naturally you, because the moon is who you are, and the moon rules Cancer. So anytime you jump into the Cancer energy, you're kind of filtering what's naturally you. And anytime you're around a Cancer can help you tap into what's naturally you, whether you like it or not. The harder you like to not be in the natural you, when you're around a Cancer, they create more type of scenarios to force you into that energy where you have to show some form of expression, which is coming from you, because you react and it causes a response. So when we look at Venus is how you love, appreciate, value, and how you relate to others. So it's going right into Cancer. This is what you need to do. This is how you need to present your Venus in a way of a Cancer archetype. But since Cancer is cardinal water, initiating and creating new ways of dealing with the emotions and feelings, and that's where your values need to go. That's what you need to start appreciating, and start appreciating the simple fact that you have the power to create your own vibe, to create your own emotional stability. Because, you know, like I said before, depending on your Venus, things may be fucked up, right? You may have Venus in Libra where things is all good, but when you dive too far in that energy, right, you end up becoming lost into loving and appreciating and valuing someone else a lot more than you, and someone else get the more end of the stick, and you end up getting the short end of the stick of that relationship. See that, and that could become a regret for you later on in life. You know what I'm saying? You may have Venus in Pisces that'll play out the same energies. Then you may have Venus in Scorpio or Aries or Capricorn, where you're just completely negative. You know, and you completely disregard love in the way that it's supposed to be expressed, and you create some shape and form for it to be expressed in the way that you see it. And when a person, place, or thing play the attributes of the opposite, then you create a burning, bridging, or a detaching type of scenario. So it could play out based upon your Venus placement. But Venus going in Cancer itself, you're here to value the emotions and feelings the best way you can. So for an example, if you got Venus in, let's say, a square, let's go to another square. You got Venus in Libra or Venus in Aries. Like I said, that's a square to Venus being in Cancer. So off the bat, you're not going to correlate the way you love and appreciate and value with the way that you're supposed to. So for an example, if you have a Venus in Aries, you may love and appreciate and value, initiate and create new ways of how to see and feel about something. So you dive too far into that energy and you forget to initiate and create the vibe first. So you're too busy trying to push off this expression, it can become detachful, distasteful. You know what I'm saying? Same with motherfucking Capricorn, which is the opposite. You're trying to initiate and create new ways of how to think and be practical. Which you're supposed to initiate and create new ways of how to correlate your emotional stability. So when you start to dive too far into that Capricorn energy, it becomes all business, or you get lost into reality or left brain to the point you overexhaust yourself. Then your emotions come out at the wrong time because you kept them pent up at times that they should have been released, where it would have been released low vibrational wise. But it was so pent up that the only time it got released, and it was in a high chaotic, highly vibrational way. So it'll play out in a lot of different natures when we talk about Venus going in Cancer. Now it's not, now it's not going to be completely in there, so it's going to be sharing a little bit of energy for the first few days. Once it leaves the 2-degree cusp, then once it's 3 degrees, it's in there. But for the most part, it's going to be sharing a lot of Gemini energies also. So it's still got the last thoughts before it went into this home. It still got the last thoughts of the last household it just went out of, which is the Gemini energy. So for the most part, it's going to be mixing, conflating the energy. So you're going to find yourself loving and appreciating, valuing, still curiosity, and intellect, and ways of thinking and communicating, but it's just going to be backed and supported by wanting to be curious or analyze about something emotional, or about something that jogged the heart a little bit, or about something that's dealing with memory, or something that's dealing with family, or something that's dealing with home, or or something that's private. These are things that you are going to want to be curious about and communicate about, or get in someone else's business, in someone else's home for the first few days. And once it slide, you're going to start to understand, like, all right, let me take that energy and apply it to myself. And like I said, the better your planet is aligned with this, the more you're going to get with the energy. The more your planet is in disgruntled energies and friction energies with the alignment, the more it's going to be hard for you to kind of get with the program. And you're going to keep trying to go with the way you're naturally going with it, and you're going to keep running into blocks and road blockages and things, and stumbles and things of that nature. And those road blockages and stumbles didn't even necessarily have to be there, but you created it based upon you not wanting to resonate with the energy, or you not knowing thyself, or you not being into this at all. So now the overall theme with Venus being in Cancer, like I said, is now this can correlate to all my Venus and Cancer signs out there in general. So you could pick this up, but just to let you know, you're going to be the one, you're going to be the example and the leaders on how everyone around you should love or appreciate things or should value. You want to be the representation of that. So based upon how you are aligning with others in your life is going to be causing friction. People who may not agree with how you're doing it, or want to clash against it. But once Venus go into Cancer, and you have Venus in Cancer naturally, then you always in the right. Whether someone trying to make you feel wrong about something, you are naturally in the right when you're diving in that energy of loving, appreciating, valuing, relating. Because the way you do it is the way that the energy on the world wants us to do it. So like I said, you might be around somebody who their Venus is fucked up, and their spirit is getting jealous of your shape and form that your spirit is in, and the way that it's aligned up and planned out the characteristics, so it may come up with opposing situations with its own shape and form that it's in. You see what I'm saying? That's when you get a spiritual hater, and then they play it out through the body, and then you get a physical person in front of you hating on you, and you don't even know why. It's their spirit inside them hating on your spirit. You see what I'm saying? The spirit knows all. So for the most part, when we talk about Venus going into Cancer, now you're supposed to love and appreciate and value and relate to more of your emotional stability, your vibe. When something don't feel right to you, pay that attention. Just think about how many things you do, how much times you go to work, how many people you be around, how many circumstances and situations you be in, and it don't 100% resonate with what you're trying to do. So you end up justifying why you're doing what you're doing based upon the people you're around, how long you may have knew them, or whether they're friends, family, or whatever they are to you. You know what I'm saying? You start to justify scenarios to why you may not feel necessarily completely right with doing what you're doing, but you're just doing it anyway based upon this outer external yang reference, this person, place, or thing. You know what I'm saying? Now, when the Venus go into Cancer, it's important to take that value right there and apply it to yourself. So if you naturally don't feel that vibe, you need to naturally not do that, and don't put your spirit in that position to experience something you don't want to experience, because the situation could play out in unlikely to your favor in the most worst way. at that time, because this is when the energy, when certain alignments is here, this is what we're here to do. And once we oppose, that's like going against the wave, going against the conscious wave, going against the flow. So you want to go against the wave, and your ass ain't gonna do nothing but get overthrown and get washed up. And that being washed up is creating scenarios in your life where it manifests people, places, and things that play out as situations that's out of your hands, that it'd be hard to gain power and control over. So you got to do extreme things. And based upon the vibrational level and the people you're dealing with, it could cause highly extreme, chaotic vibrational moments to transform your ass to the point that transformation will appear as death in your realm of reality. Your ass don't want that. So, it's very important when Venus go into Cancer to love and appreciate and value your own vibe. Create your own vibe. Don't try to resonate and mix and mingle with other people's vibe, because the more you jump into that nature, you're going to manifest situations that don't play in your favor. AKA, if that party that someone trying to get you to go to don't match your vibe, when Venus go into Cancer, now is the time, if it wasn't never a time before, to be like, nah, I need to create and stay in my own vibe. I don't need to go there. And you don't need no justifications, because when we talk about Cardinal is strong. So Cardinal ain't got no time for justifications. Cardinal initiate and create. Ain't no time to be seeing things from other sides and from a broad perspective, aka mutable. Ain't no time to even be fixated on one idea, one thought, to see it all the way through, aka fix. Cardinal like to motherfucking create and leave the creation to build on this motherfucking own, but it ain't got time. So Cardinal, this is what makes Cardinal signs powerful, because they're able to be mutable and fix when the time is needed, but they truly get detached, because once they get once they use their Cardinal energy and become too mutable, they gain attachments that they don't want. And then once they get into a fixed nature with their Cardinal energy, they end up creating a separateness that they don't want, like negative separateness. So Cardinal signs just like to do things on their own. They don't like to put their responsibilities onto others, and they don't want others to feel like they're responsible for them, because they are the ones who like to initiate and create new ways of seeing and feeling about the actual elements. Now, when we talk about Cardinal, that's the spark of the element. The fix is what you physically see from the element. So what you physically see bouncing off of the world and the element that we are in, as a realm. And then the mutable sign gets things to transform. So you could look at it like this. Cardinal signs spark the idea. You don't even see where that idea came from. So fire, that'd be what? Electricity. Water, that'd be like a vibe. You see what I'm saying? Earth would just be like a blueprint, a structure, drew out before the building is built. You see what I'm saying? And air would just be like the concept of movement, or the concept of communication. You know what I'm saying? Like the concept of a point of reference, or logic itself. Air would be like logic itself. How, like, logically understanding the shapeless and formless of the fire, water, and earth. And then air is like the initiating of communication, or logic, trying to understand it. So boom, that's the Cardinal. It's like unseen. It's all dealing in mental or some shit like that. Then you get the fixed version of the elements. Now the fixed version of the elements is what you see. You actually see a fire and a flame, Leo. You actually see the water. You actually can feel the water. You see what I'm saying? And it goes deep. You can see the depth of it. That's Scorpio. You see what I'm saying? You can actually see the building being built after the structure was drew. That's Taurus. You can see the building. So the building is fixated and stable in the spot as a big block or brick or building or whatever like that. And then you got fixed air. You can actually feel the air now. You can feel the air moving. You can feel the direction it's going. It's very unique. That's a unique sense right there. You can't see it, but you can feel it. The fuck? You see what I'm saying? So it's logic, but it's logic in this reality. So it's Saturn. So it's Aquarius air, but it's Saturn reality. So it's logical. It's logicality about reality. You see what I'm saying? Then you got the mutable. Mutable cause transformation. So they like to add ideas. So they transform ideas to get things to get ready to disappear again or take shape and form again. So then you got water. So mutable water would be like cloud, collective conscious. You know what I'm saying? Like the H2O of it. You know what I'm saying? The spread outness of it. You know what I'm saying? The far out, the realm of imagination and all thoughts and dreams and shit like that, right? That'd be Pisces, mutable water. Then you got mutable fire. You see what I'm saying? That'd be Sagittarius. That's when the fire spread out thin. You know what I'm saying? And so imagination and broad ways of and broad visions is being scattered and being able to be seen from a broad perspective. So you're able to have a broad perspective about this reality, because look, fire brings light, so you're able to see. And if it's spread out thin, you're able to see a broad perspective, aka see light and a broad perspective of this realm scattered out. So this creates wisdom, you know what I'm saying, being wise, having being spiritual and things of that nature, and having visions about things that's shapeless and formless, aka cardinal fire, which is Aries. Aries try to play that in reality, play with shapeless and formless in a shape and form realm. So this is why Aries try to push limits a lot of times, and they be doing things that seem inspirational but crazy at times. But for the most part, Sagittarius see that from a wisdom outside looking in perspective and things of that nature. So it's like a level sense of understanding. You got mutable air. Now mutable air, this is scattered, so it's like winds and air and intellect that you can kind of be curious. Like, so it's like an air in a Pacific rotation. Like I said, when you got the fixed air, that's heavy air, like the air is blooming everywhere like Aquarius. Then you got scattered mutable air, so the air is blowing out. So we know we got air, but the air ain't heavy winds in a day. You see what I'm saying? So, but you know you breathing in air. So this is nice, subtle, being able to relate and see everything from a broad perspective. It ain't no heavy wind blowing in one specific direction. Single-minded, being stubborn, like Aquarius. It's air everywhere, like Gemini. So it's scattered air. So it's air that everybody is breathing. It ain't one specific area where the wind is blowing these specific people that way and separating things. Everybody is kind of on the level, it's like a collective conscious on a broad level. Once again, so it's intellect and thoughts and communicating on a broad level. Being able to take the shape and form of everybody's ways of communicating and thinking and analyzing when the time is needed and when the time is not. You go to your own secluded. Then you got I said the air. Then you got the mutable earth. Mutable earth. That would be like when the earth get broken up. Just like you got the cardinal earth, which is the blueprint drawn out, which is Capricorn. Then you got the building the building from the structure and the blueprint actually being built and being foundation and stable, fixated. It could cause stubbornness also, which is Taurus. Then you got the transformation of that building once it tear down, and you got many different rocks and shit that come from it. We could use that from other different shit, but we could see how that building was built, see how it worked, analyze it, break it down, and see how this work, how this clock tick. And that's Virgo. You know, that's mutable earth, scattered earth. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Stuff that it could cause dust storms and things of that nature, aka dust storms. That's a Virgo who's constantly putting their 2 cents in areas that it doesn't need to be. You know what I'm saying? Because Virgo is Earth, but is ruled by Mercury, which is an air-like planet. So off the back, it give you that kind of energy. But you know, that's just giving you the relationships so you can kind of understand where Venus is going into Cancer. Venus is going into a cardinal energy. So you need to make sure that you are initiating and creating, not letting some outside influence add ideas to how you should feel, aka mutable. Not being stuck in one feeling, regardless if you're wrong or right, aka fixed. But being able to initiate and create your own vibe when the time is needed. Being wise enough to know when to change yourself and be mutable. And being wise enough to know when you need to be fixated on something and have conviction so no one can budge you. And then all that, and by all that process happening, simultaneously being cardinal, initiating, creating at each moment, because you are the creator, aka cardinal. And you need to understand that nature when we talk about Venus going into Cancer, because the moments that you dive into energies where you don't relate yourself to these energies, you're going to create a bad scenario for yourself. And I explain it one more time. Like I said, Venus is how you love, appreciate, value the things you relate to and compromise with. That could either lead to bad habits and create scenarios that make you feel like you need to start doing things in moderation. But for the most part, this could be people, places, or things in your life that you love, appreciate, value, or relate to. to. So when it's going into Cancer, Cancer is what? Cardinal water, initiating, creating new ways of dealing with the emotions and feelings, aka initiating your vibe, your surroundings, your experience, or what you want to experience. So since that's cardinal, that's your duty to initiate. And since we got Venus, love and appreciate, you need to love and appreciate that mechanism that you have, and quit giving that power to other people. Quit letting other people dictate what you love and appreciate and value. If you don't resonate with that vibe, create a scenario to get away from that vibe, because the longer you in that vortex or energy signature based upon these people, places, and things you are around that don't match your vibe, you're going to create the scenario that's way more worse than it would have been when Venus was still in Gemini. See, planets is going to play out differently in every sign. When it goes into Cancer, this is how it's going to play out. Now when it goes into Leo, it's going to be a whole different scenario that you need to be loving and appreciating and valuing, so you can add to your spirit, so your spirit can gain enough information so you can start learning how to reach the egg properly. But these are one of the first scenarios in the fourth dimensional bodies and beings and things that we need to understand and analyze with, so we can understand our day-to-day and do more things our spirit want to do and receive more success than rejection within these experiences that we are keep giving signs and names and symbols to, where really we don't know what the fuck is going on. We just fucking experiencing. Flight boss, bitch, goddamn air. Venus going into Cancer, and all that means tap into yourself. And me just even speaking how I'm speaking is a form of that. Air.